How did we get here? Okay, so let's back it up. I don't cook dinner every night, but I try to cook dinner every night. Some days we just end up eating takeout because the day's a shitstorm. But today was not one of those days. Today was a good day. I was like, okay, this is perfect. I can cook a nice dinner before the kids have to go to practices. But what I miscalculated was the time it would take me to cook this meal. I could have just threw the potatoes and onions in the oven and I probably would have been fine, but I've been addicted to adding garlic to everything. And this clip here is sped up times 2, so it took me forever to unpeel all the garlic. So already it was 4:15. We have to leave the house by 4:45 to go to practices, so I clearly do not know what I was thinking. And whenever I cook, I just make shit up as I go. I don't really follow any recipes. And potatoes take like an hour to cook in the oven at minimum, so I was trying to like crank the temperature up in the oven to get these done faster. Meanwhile, I didn't even touch the steaks yet. Like, I didn't even open them. So in this moment here, I realized, okay, supper is definitely not going to be done on time. And instead of eating at 4:30, we're now going to be stuck eating at 7:30. And the potatoes were done after I dropped my daughter off at practice, but nobody was around to eat them. So I decided to just turn the oven off and leave them in there with the residual heat so they at least stay warm. Now it's 7:30. I'm overstimulated. I'm freaking starving. This lighting does me absolutely no favors. I used cutting boards and pans that were way too small for these steaks. And this brings us back to the beginning of the video. Anytime I use our cast iron skillet, I always end up setting off the fire alarm because I use it solely for the purpose of searing meats. And I'm not tall enough to reach our fire alarm, so we listened to it for like 20 minutes straight. Needless to say, we were all tired, we were all hungry, and this was just a disaster. And I freaking broke my tongs, and every time I go to the store, I always forget to buy a new pair, so we're kind of flipping it with bear claws there, which was also a disaster. That and I 100% should have cooked each steak individually because they didn't fit very well in the pan. Adding more garlic because, like I said, I'm kind of obsessed. From the cutting board to the pan to the plate, these steaks were freaking giant and were not meant for any of them. This is the usual kitchen chaos. Our kitchen is actually way too small. Despite all of the chaos, the meal ended up actually being pretty good and the steaks were cooked perfect. I would love to be the people who just eat dinners together, but this is our reality.